Think about the last time you achieved a specific accomplishment, even if it was a small one. For example, you avoid eating the last piece of cake in the fridge and stick to your diet. Or you don't open up Instagram or TikTok today and waste your time on them. Wait a moment. Why are we so weak that we can't resist temptation? Is there a specific way to maintain these achievements on a daily basis so that our entire lives become a success without wasting time? Imagine yourself free of temptation, committed to exercise and proper food, with your body in tip-top shape and your health at its peak. There's no such thing as accumulating lectures. You read them all every day and get all A's. You accomplish your work creatively and on schedule. What's the difference between relying on your willpower and resisting temptations and not having any temptations at all? Welcome to the Midnight's Questions channel. Tonight, we'll answer the question, is willpower real or just a myth? And how can we use it? If you're new to this channel, do not forget to subscribe and activate the bell so you can watch videos first. In 1972, there was an experiment at Stanford University called the marshmallow experiment. The researchers in this experiment brought children with an average age of 4 years and put a plate in front of them with a marshmallow on it. A child sees a piece of candy? Imagine the level of temptation. The researchers then tell them that we are going out of the room for now, and if you don't eat this marshmallow until we come back, we'll give you a second one, which means you'll have 2 pieces of marshmallow. After that, the researchers left the room and kept watching the children through hidden cameras for 10 minutes. The children were creative with their actions. They kept staring at the marshmallow, sniffing it, and even snuck a lick or two. By the end of the experiment, barely a third of the participating children were able to control themselves and did not eat the marshmallow until the time was over. Except for this little girl. She made a hole in the bottom of a marshmallow and ate the insides so that the researchers could not see that she had eaten anything from the outside and rewarded her with another piece. Whether the children eat the marshmallow or not, we can all agree that they put in a lot of effort into resisting eating it. As for us, as adults, 1 piece of marshmallow is not a problem. I have no problem, even if I haven't eaten any marshmallows in my entire life. But we have forgotten that our marshmallows come in different forms. Sweets, fast food, TikTok, Instagram, video games, smoking, and other temptations. I wonder, will there be any consequences for us when we spend our effort resisting certain temptations, even if we succeed in resisting it? A famous experiment conducted by the scientist Roy Baumeister included 67 participants who did not eat anything for at least 3 hours. The participants entered a room filled with the aroma of freshly baked chocolate chip cookies. They sit down at a table with 2 plates. The first contains chocolate chip cookies, which are freshly baked and hot, and the second plate contains radishes. They told half of the participants that they must only eat radishes, and told the second half that they can eat anything they like. Of course, they all chose cookies. After that, they brought the 2 groups, the poor radish group and the cookie group, and let them work on solving a puzzle. The puzzle was actually impossible to solve, but the idea was they wanted to see which group would be more patient and try to solve the puzzle for a longer time. The radish group gave up on the puzzle in almost half the time compared to the cookie group. The cookie group took approximately 20 minutes, while the radish group barely completed 10 minutes. Frankly, I was expecting the radish group to be more patient because they were resisting the temptations and didn't eat the cookies. But the truth is, the radish group ran out of their willpower when they were resisting the freshly baked chocolate chip cookies. That's why they had less willpower to spend on the puzzle. Of course, this experiment is one of more than 200 experiments, all on the subject of willpower. In short, all of these experiments show that willpower does exist and that the reserves of willpower is limited in humans. So, if you use your willpower on a certain thing, that means you'll have less willpower to spend on other things. They liken it to a muscle. When you overuse it, you get tired and can't do anything with it. Resisting a certain temptation will also affect your focus, your ability to work, or even the decisions you make. A notable example is when you have exams while your sibling begins their summer vacation. How can you convince yourself to study while you watch them play and have fun? How will you focus on your study? Another experiment was published in 2012 in the journal Personality and Social Psychology. They had 205 people wear a device that would give them an alert at a random time of day. When they heard the alert, they had to record any desires they were trying to resist at that time. Were their desires strong or not? And did they succeed in resisting or not? Following that, the researchers analyzed the data they gathered, which totaled around 8,000 desires. They found that the more desires a person resisted, the greater the likelihood of surrendering to the next desire. During your day, from the moment you first wake up, you resist the desire to go back to sleep because you have to go to work. And let's be honest, no one likes their work, which will drain more willpower from you. Apart from the temptations posed by your mobile phone, such as browsing social media or playing games, all of these are just ways to spend your willpower. By the end of the day, after finishing work and returning home, you face a choice between watching Netflix or going to the gym. The most likely thing is that you will watch a movie because your willpower has already been consumed by other things. In the 2012 experiment, just as there were participants who depleted their willpower and surrendered, others were able to be highly productive. Wow, I'm sure they had greater willpower reserves than the rest, so they were able to resist all temptations and remain productive. In reality, this is not the case. When the researchers reviewed the gathered data, they noticed that the number of desires those people recorded was less than the rest. What does that mean? The number of distractions around them is less. What does this mean? People who we thought had the most self-control are actually making the least effort to control themselves. A lot of talking and tangled thoughts, right? Let me summarize the main idea for you. These experiments and the data that was collected all led to one result, which is that no one can resist temptations without using up their reserves of willpower. The best way to resist temptation is to not have any temptations in the first place. According to a study by Glenn Wilson at Gresham College, even the smallest distractions, like a notification on your phone, can reduce the efficiency in completing a task by 10 IQ degrees. That is insane. Just your desire to open a notification can ruin the atmosphere of your concentration and prevent you from achieving the desired result. Of course, our response to temptation is based on our daily habits. This is a very important topic, and I highly recommend you read the book Atomic Habits. In fact, this book was the reason for changing the way I think about my whole life. Now, let us gather what we have learned in this episode. The best solution to avoiding temptation is to not have any temptations at all. You're weak against sweets. Instead of hiding them, don't buy them in the first place. You waste your time on video games? Delete them. You waste your time on social media? Delete your accounts or deactivate them. You can't resist opening the notifications on your phone? Turn it off. Your brain always turns to things that gives it dopamine. As long as you have a chance to stop the boring job you're doing and go do something else that gives you dopamine, your brain will keep reminding you and nagging you to do it, and you will never be able to focus on your work. If you completely eliminate these temptations, your brain will surrender to reality, and even if it wants to, you'll no longer be able to make this happen. Which means you don't have to spend your willpower on things that are not useful and focus on your work more. Thus, we have answered the question, is willpower real or just a myth? And how can we use it? If this is your first time entering the channel, in this channel, we answer questions that may come to your mind while you're laying in bed in the middle of the night and can't sleep. As usual, if there's a question that comes to your mind in the middle of the night and confuses you, write it in the comments below the video so we can answer it for you. If you like the video, Don't forget to like and share. And if you're new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe and activate the bell button so you can watch videos first. And we'll see you in the next episode.